Love doesn't always announce itself with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives quietly, through a lingering glance, a hesitant smile, a moment of silence that feels heavier than words. When a man is falling for you but trying to hide it, his heart begins to betray him in the smallest ways. You can feel it before he ever admits it. There's a different energy in the way he says your name, a pause before he leaves, a spark of awareness in the air when your eyes meet. He might act like nothing's changed, but everything has. You just haven't said it out loud yet. Men often fall in love differently from women. They don't always talk about it. They act it. Their love lives in the quiet, in how they listen, in how they remember things you forgot you said, in how they check that you got home safely. They hide it behind teasing jokes, casual messages, and small gestures that seem meaningless to anyone else. But if you look closely, those little moments are the map to his heart. The truth is, when a man's feelings deepen, he doesn't want to risk losing control. He starts protecting what he feels by pretending it's not there. You'll sense the pull in his hesitation, the way he wants to move closer but stops himself halfway, the way his eyes soften when you laugh, the way he tries to keep his composure when your hand brushes his. That's the quiet chaos of a man in love, fighting what he feels, while every part of him keeps giving it away. It's not that he doesn't want you to know, it's that he's scared. Scared of being vulnerable, of being seen, of loving someone who could break him just by walking away. But his heart can't hide forever. It slips out in the way he listens, in the questions he asks, in the little things he does without expecting praise. When he starts remembering your comfort, your favorite song, the things that make you laugh, that's not politeness, that's devotion disguised as friendship. Men reveal love not with confessions, but with consistency. You'll notice he starts showing up, in small ways, in steady patterns, in the quiet between conversations. So this video isn't about obvious signs, it's about real ones. The ones you feel in your gut. The ones that whisper before they shout. Because when a man falls in love, even while hiding it, he leaves traces everywhere. You just have to know where to look. If you've ever wondered whether he's falling for you but can't bring himself to say it, stay until the end. Because what you're about to hear will make you see every tiny moment differently. When a man starts falling for you, he rarely announces it with words. He doesn't walk up to you and confess that you've taken over his mind. Instead, his love leaks through the smallest cracks of his behavior. Quiet glances, subtle shifts, tiny hesitations that reveal far more than any direct confession ever could. Most women miss those signals because they are looking for the dramatic moment, the big declaration. But the truth is, men often fall in love slowly, secretly, while pretending to stay in control. What gives him away isn't what he says, it's what he tries to hide. You'll see it in the way he listens. Not just nodding while you talk, but really hearing you. He remembers details, the things you mentioned once and forgot, like the name of your favorite childhood pet or how you hate the sound of ticking clocks. When he brings those up later, it's not coincidence, it's affection in disguise. He stores fragments of you in his mind because you've become meaningful to him. He wants to understand you without asking too much, and that's the first sign of emotional investment. Watch his silence. A man who's falling for you becomes quieter, not louder. He pauses before he speaks, afraid of saying something that might reveal too much. When you walk into a room, his tone softens. He finds reasons to linger, to stretch a moment into something longer than necessary. He'll look at you like he's studying a secret, like he's trying to memorize you. It's in those moments that his guard drops, and you can see the pull he's trying to resist. Sometimes he'll act more distant right after, because falling for someone terrifies men who aren't ready to be vulnerable. His distance isn't rejection, it's confusion. He's fighting his own heart, not you. He starts showing you his world without asking you to step fully into it. He shares the music he loves, the movies that made him cry, the jokes he's afraid others won't find funny. That's how men say, "I want you to know who I am." It's not always grand gestures. Sometimes it's the small act of opening a window into his inner life. When he starts seeking your opinion before making a decision, he's no longer thinking of himself as a solo player. He's quietly letting you in. When he mentions you in conversations with friends, casually, naturally, it means you've become part of his narrative. You're no longer someone he's talking to. You're someone he's thinking about when you're not there. Pay attention to how he reacts when you pull back. If you suddenly grow distant, does he chase your presence subtly? Maybe he texts you something random, or likes an old photo, or finds an excuse to check in. That's his way of saying, I miss you, but I don't want to admit it. Men often express longing through logic, pretending they just remembered something they had to tell you. But their timing betrays them. When a man's heart is involved, his pattern changes. He starts syncing his rhythm with yours, replying faster, showing up more, caring in ways he never verbalizes. Sometimes, his affection hides in protectiveness. He notices when you're uncomfortable, steps closer when someone makes you uneasy, or defends you when you're not around. A man in love becomes your silent guardian before he even realizes it. He wants you to feel safe, not because he thinks you're fragile, but because you matter. When he starts caring about your comfort, not just your attention, that's love growing quietly inside him. He might tease you playfully, but he'll never let someone else do it harshly. He may not call it love, but his body already has. Notice how he mirrors your emotions. When you're happy, he lights up effortlessly. When you're upset, he becomes restless. Empathy is one of the strongest signs of hidden affection. He might try to hide it behind humor or distraction, but deep down, your mood affects his. He starts reading between your words, sensing tension even when you're smiling. He offers comfort clumsily, not because he doesn't care, but because he's terrified of saying the wrong thing. That's another hidden language of love. When he wants to fix your pain but doesn't know how, so he just stays near. Men who fall deeply rarely rush. Instead, they linger. They notice. They adapt. If he starts adjusting small habits, like walking on the traffic side of the road, slowing down his pace so you don't fall behind, or remembering your favorite coffee order, those are instinctive signs he's attaching emotionally. They are not conscious moves to impress you. They are reflexes born from care. He doesn't plan them. He just does them because your well-being has quietly merged with his. Another sign is how he looks at you when you're not performing. When you're distracted, laughing at something else, or lost in thought, his gaze softens, admiration mixed with peace. That's the look of a man who's already fallen. Attraction is loud, affection is silent. The real giveaway isn't how he looks at you. It's how he looks after you've stopped looking. When he studies you like you're the calm he didn't know he needed, that's not infatuation. That's emotional gravity. His time becomes the truest proof. Men value time differently. They give it only to what they respect. If he keeps showing up consistently, not just when it's convenient, it means his heart has already chosen. He finds reasons to see you, even if it's for a few minutes. He offers help without you asking. That's emotional investment disguised as kindness. If he remembers your schedule, worries when you're late, or checks that you ate, he's not just being nice. He's falling deeper, one ordinary day at a time. Even the way he argues changes. A man who's falling for you doesn't fight to win. He fights to understand. He might go quiet during conflict, not because he doesn't care, but because he's terrified of saying something that could hurt what you share. His restraint is a form of respect. He starts valuing peace over ego, and that's when you know his emotions are real. Look for the small confessions hidden in casual sentences. I was thinking about what you said, or I saw something that reminded me of you. Those aren't just words, they are breadcrumbs of affection. When a man lets your thoughts live rent-free in his mind, that's love in progress. He may never say, I miss you, but he'll mention how quiet his day felt without you. That's the male version of longing. Sometimes, the clearest proof comes from inconsistency. He might act composed one moment, then strangely awkward the next. That's because falling in love dismantles control. He starts overthinking, replaying conversations, wondering if he said too much. You'll notice him get jealous in subtle ways, not possessive, but protective. When another guy gets your attention, he tries to act indifferent, yet his energy shifts. His jokes change. His silence deepens. That conflict between wanting to appear chill and wanting to be yours, That's hidden love wrestling with pride. He also starts reflecting your energy. If you're kind, he becomes softer. If you pull back, he feels the void. His emotions sync with yours like invisible tides. That's what connection does. It builds a rhythm between two hearts long before anyone says, I love you. One of the most overlooked signs, he lets you see him tired. Men guard their fatigue, their vulnerability. When he starts relaxing around you, revealing his unpolished side, it means he feels emotionally safe. He doesn't need to impress you anymore. He just wants to exist near you. If he laughs freely, shares silly stories, or talks about his fears without fear of judgment, he's no longer hiding behind walls. You've become his peace. Listen for the pauses between his words. They often say more than the words themselves. When a man falls for you, his voice changes, slower, deeper, sometimes softer. He uses your name more often because it grounds him. He compliments you differently too, less about appearance, more about essence. You make things feel lighter. You always know what to say. Those are emotional compliments. They come from a place of connection, not admiration alone. He starts creating shared rituals, a favorite spot, an inside joke, a nickname only he uses. Those micro-moments are how he anchors intimacy. They seem trivial, but to him, they are threads that tie you together. Even if he hasn't labeled his feelings yet, his actions already have. You'll feel it most when he's quiet but present. He might not text for hours, yet when he does, it feels warm, intentional. He doesn't just send hey. He sends something that sounds like I was thinking about you but didn't know how to say it. That's emotional depth disguised as simplicity. Sometimes, love hides in patience. If he waits for you to open up, doesn't pressure you for answers, and gives you space when you need it, he's not being distant, he's being respectful. He wants you to trust him at your own pace. That kind of patience is a man's quiet confession. He also starts imagining a future with you, not necessarily in words, but in assumptions. He says things like, next time we go there, or you'll love that place. That's a subconscious projection of permanence. When he plans with we, not I, love has already taken root. The most powerful clue of all, his energy around you feels calm, not chaotic. Real love doesn't create anxiety. It creates stillness. When a man's soul recognizes its home in you, his presence feels grounded. You'll notice it in your body. Your guard drops too. You start mirroring each other's ease. That's when you both know it's real, even if no one has spoken it yet. He'll try to hide it, of course. He'll make jokes, act casual, talk about just being friends. But his eyes will betray him. His attention lingers, his gestures soften, his words start carrying unspoken care. Love always finds a way to speak, even through silence. Eventually, his actions will start to speak louder than anything else. He shows up when you least expect it, remembers your dreams, supports you when you fail, celebrates you when you win. He listens when you ramble, comforts you when you cry, and never makes you feel like too much. That's how you know he's falling, not because he tells you, but because he treats your heart like it's his own. And when he finally does confess, it won't be fireworks. It'll be gentle, a truth that's been waiting patiently. You'll realize he's been saying it all along, in every little thing he did. Because love, when it's real, doesn't start with words. It starts with presence. So if you ever wonder whether he's falling for you even while hiding it, don't listen to what he says. Watch how his world rearranges itself quietly around you. Notice the softness in his voice, the care in his chaos, the peace in his gaze. Because men don't always say, I love you. Sometimes, they just start living like they already do. When a man is falling in love but trying to hide it, everything about him becomes a contradiction. He tells himself he can handle it, that he's in control, that he can keep it casual. But his every action betrays him. His hands fidget more when you're near. He laughs at your smallest jokes, not because they are particularly funny, but because your happiness feels contagious. When you talk, his attention becomes undivided. The world blares around him. You could mention something completely ordinary, and he'd still look at you like it's poetry. That's what falling in love looks like when a man's pride is still holding on. He hides his heart in plain sight, hoping you won't notice. And yet, love always leaves traces. It shows in the way he positions himself around you. If he's across the room, somehow, he'll always be facing you. His shoulders will lean toward you even when he's pretending to talk to someone else. When he walks beside you, his steps unconsciously match yours. That's his body syncing to your rhythm, even if his mind hasn't caught up yet. When he laughs, he glances your way to see if you're laughing too. That need for shared joy is instinctive. It's his heart searching for harmony. There's a shift in his confidence, too. Around others, he may be relaxed or charismatic, but around you, he's careful. His words get softer, his tone gentler, as if he's speaking to something precious. He might tease you, but never cruelly. If he accidentally hurts your feelings, he'll notice immediately. His apology will come fast, not because he's scared of losing you, but because the thought of disappointing you unsettles him. That's one of the most tender signs of hidden affection, when a man values your emotional comfort more than his own pride. You'll also sense his inner conflict. When he's around you, he alternates between warmth and withdrawal, a dance between desire and restraint. He'll text you one day, then go quiet for two. Not because he's playing games, but because he's trying to calm down feelings that have grown stronger than he planned. That inconsistency isn't lack of interest. It's his heart trying to find equilibrium. Falling in love threatens his sense of control, and most men fear that loss deeply. So he pulls back to regain it, only to find himself missing you more intensely each time. Watch how he reacts when someone else shows you attention. His eyes flicker, his body stiffens, yet he'll pretend not to care. He might even make a joke, but the shift in his voice will tell you the truth. Jealousy, for a man who's falling in silence, isn't loud. It's quiet, tense, protective. He won't compete openly, but he'll subtly reassert his presence, maybe by standing closer or initiating a random conversation just to remind you he's there. That's not manipulation, it's instinct. Love makes him territorial in ways he doesn't fully understand. When he's falling for you, his usual distractions stop working. The hobbies that used to absorb him now feel hollow. He listens to songs differently. They remind him of you. He starts imagining how you'd react to things, how you'd laugh, what you'd say. You become the mental soundtrack behind his daily life. That's why he texts at random hours, or suddenly shares something mundane like a meme or quote. It's his way of keeping a thread of connection alive without exposing the depth behind it. The people closest to him notice it first. His friends tease him, saying his energy has changed. He brushes it off, but they can see it, the half smile when your name comes up, the way his phone suddenly matters more. Even if he denies it, he's already given himself away. Love alters a man's focus. Suddenly, everything reminds him of one person, and that person is you. You'll see it when he starts doing small things that require no recognition. He'll fix something for you quietly, send you information you mentioned needing, or show up with your favorite snack because he happened to be near that place. He pretends it's coincidence, but deep down he's doing it because he cares. These unspoken acts of service are how men express affection before they are ready to speak it aloud. Words can be risky, actions feel safer. Over time, he starts showing vulnerability in subtle forms. Maybe he tells you about his family, or about something that once broke his heart. Men don't reveal their emotional scars easily. If he's trusting you with that part of himself, he's already past the point of pretending you don't matter. He's giving you access to his soft side, the one he usually keeps buried beneath jokes and confidence. When he starts to trust you with his silence, when he can sit next to you without filling the air, that's intimacy in its purest form. Another sign, he pays attention to your boundaries. He doesn't push when you say no. He waits for your comfort, not your compliance. That patience comes from genuine care, not strategy. He's not chasing approval, he's building trust. A man who truly values you will never force emotional speed. He'd rather go slow and steady than risk making you feel unsafe. That restraint is one of the quietest but strongest confessions of love. You might notice he mirrors your interests. Suddenly, His watching the shows you like or listening to the artist you mentioned. Not because he's trying to copy you, but because he wants to feel closer to your world. Shared taste creates shared space. It's his way of building invisible bridges between your lives. Even the smallest overlap feels like intimacy to him. When you're apart, he stays aware of your presence. He remembers when you have a big day or a tough week and checks in just to see how you're doing. That care doesn't fade with distance, it deepens. If you mention something in passing, like being tired or unwell, he follows up later. That's not casual attention, it's genuine emotional tracking. He's tuned into your life in ways he doesn't even realize. Sometimes, his love shows through absence. He pulls back, not to play hard to get, but to protect himself from feeling too exposed. But even in that distance, you'll sense his energy. Small digital footprints, late-night views on your stories, or an old message liked out of nowhere. That's him saying, "I still care," without saying anything at all. Men often love like that, through quiet signals instead of declarations. His friends might start teasing you both, noticing chemistry he tries to downplay. They might smirk when you walk in, or give knowing glances. He laughs it off, but his reaction will be telling. If he defends you, changes the subject quickly, or gets oddly flustered, that's affection leaking through denial. Men don't like being exposed emotionally, but when their feelings are real, they can't always hide the blush behind their grin. There's also a subtle consistency in the way he treats you. Even when he's busy or tired, he doesn't disappear completely. He finds small ways to stay connected. A brief text, a shared meme, a comment. That minimal effort might seem insignificant, but it's deliberate. It's his way of saying, "You still matter, even when I have nothing to say." And when you finally see him looking at you like you're the only thing grounding him, you'll understand that words were never necessary. His love was there in every small pause, every nervous laugh, every time he chose kindness over ego. Falling for you made him softer, gentler, more aware. He tried to hide it, but love, no matter how quietly it grows, always finds a way to be seen. Because men don't always say "I love you" first. Sometimes, they simply show up, again and again, until their silence starts to sound exactly like love.